What's up, you guys? This is Jane. This is our Hellbent yoga class. This is number 9. We are nearly on number 10, which is so crazy. It's gone really fast. Um, Today, we're actually going to be working on our ankles and feet. So as you can see, I've got a few props here, and if you guys have something handy that you want to go grab, this is probably a great time to go do it. I've got a yoga block here, but you can also use anything else that's firm and hard that you can stand on. And I also have a blanket that we can roll up and use later. So if you want to go ahead and grab any props that you might have, you can push pause and come right back. Sorry, I've got my fan on out here because it's like super freaking hot all of a sudden here in Texas. So a lot of times it's the stuff that we don't think about that needs strengthening until typically it's when something happens, right? Like either I sustain an injury or all of a sudden we be experiencing some kind of pain. A lot of people with prolonged posture and things like that will end up with issues in their feet. There's also like if you've had any kind of injury in your ankle or you sprained it or twisted it or something like that, those kinds of injuries can cause problems for a really long time, causing chronic issues with your mobility. And that ankle, that kind of injury, like knee ankle stuff, like it takes so long to heal. And it's because part of the reason is because we use that part of our body so often. Like it literally is something we cannot avoid for the most part. We're walking, we're standing, we're doing all this stuff. A lot of people end up with things like plantar fasciitis. If you've ever had that, then you know how terribly painful it is. I've never personally had it, but my husband has, and I've watched him have to go through that, you know. So there's all kinds of things that can compromise our issues with our ankles and feet that we need to be particularly aware of, and preventative in nature is always the way to go. If I can be preventative in keeping myself from experiencing certain kinds of injuries or pains, clearly that's what I want to do, right? And if you already know you have a compromised part of your body, you know, you've hurt an ankle before it has been broken or you've had surgery there, things like that, that kind of strengthening is even more important. If you've had any kind of surgery, you've probably been in physical therapy for it, so you may be familiar with some of the stuff that we're going to do today. The thing that we also often don't think about is the fact that not only does it hurt when I have an injury or things of that nature, can also cause referred pain. And that referred pain would start like in your knee and then potentially work up to your hip. It can even work its way farther up towards that spine, the lower spine, and up even into like your shoulders and neck. It's so freaking crazy how one thing can have that domino effect, and it can really impact our mobility in such a negative way, because it's like our whole body is trying to, you know, make up for that injury. So it's super important that we engage in these stresses, and it's really, really important too. Like so many dudes I know, especially bikers and my community, the male community and stuff, let's just suffer through it. They'll be like, I'm just gonna suck it up and eventually it's gonna go away. Well, not necessarily. You know, a lot of times it takes us investing in our body, investing in our health, so that we can achieve healing faster, so that we can meet our needs and get to where we want to be faster. It's like where I want to be is having the freedom of movement, doing the stuff that I want to do because I love it. I don't want to be limited in what I can do, particularly like riding my bike and shit like that. Like if I'm riding my bike and I can't put my weight into my feet and my ankles to support me on my bike when I'm coming to a stop or something like that, it's a pretty big freaking problem. You can have the most badass bike in the world, but you don't want that thing coming down on you at a stop sign because you don't have the strength that you need in your body to hold that bike up. Like, there's so many reasons why it's important. Not only that you're moving that foot constantly. Most of us have, you know, foot controls. We're shifting gears, we're braking, we're doing stuff. And when you're in a lot of pain, even that minor type of a movement, it's gonna hurt. You're gonna feel that. So this is what we're going to be focusing on predominantly today. Of course, we're always going to throw in a little bit of other stuff, but that's what we're working on. So this kind of stuff, it's like, take the stuff that you love. Like when we're going through all this, you don't have to do the whole fucking class every single day, right? You don't have to do this one class once a week even. Just take those postures or those exercises that really like felt good to you and spoke to you. And you're like, oh man, like man, I feel that I really need this, you know? Take those and incorporate them into your own personal practice. Your personal practice can be, you know, 15 minutes a day. 15 minutes is all you really have to invest in yourself to feel better. And that's like a responsibility thing. You know, instead of just waiting around like, oh, it's gonna pass, I'll get through it and all hard and I don't have to do anything, I can take the pain, you know. Why? That's the dumbest shit. Like, do what you need to do to take care of your body so that you can heal faster and be in that tip-top condition when you want to be, which is much faster than it would take if you just didn't do anything at all. Okay? Always, of course, we're never pressing in pain, tingling, or numbness. So be aware when you're working on these parts of your body that are potentially compromised, that you are not doing that. If something doesn't start to feel right, you need to ease out and you need to release that posture and relax that part of your body because we do not ever want to cause injury. We only want to support the body. We only want to protect the body. We start out with stretching and then we work into strengthening and then we're going to finish up with a little bit more stretching, okay? Because this one, because it is the ankle that is so responsible, this one joint is responsible for so much fucking weight bearing of our body. And so we really, really, really need to be gentle with it, just like our neck. You know what I'm saying? So be gentle with it, take care of it. If it starts to hurt, ease out, okay? Let's go ahead and just start by coming into our body. Relax and come into the breath. Drop the shoulders back and down. You can close your eyes and draw your attention within your own being. Take your attention back inside of yourself. Nice long deep breaths. Taking the breath all the way down into the belly so that on the inhalation, the belly is rising up and away from the body, and on the exhalation, taking that navel towards the spine. And just start sending those roots out from all of those points of contact from the body to the earth. Visualizing those roots growing deeper, anchoring you into this time and space. Really slow and gentle. Whenever you're ready, start to allow those eyes to flutter open. Inhale deeply, exhale, drop the chin to the chest. Then start waking up the body, take one ear to one shoulder, drop the crown of the head to the back wall, opposite shoulder, chin coming back to the chest, making those gentle neck circles. Pausing and breathing into any of those areas of the body where you're feeling into that tension or resistance. Inhaling from the front to the back. Exhaling from the back to the front. Next time you find the chin to the chest, start taking a rotation in the opposite direction. Inhale, take things back to the front of the room so that we can come into that soupy grind. We're inhaling deeply. Exhale, hinging forward from the hips. We're going to take that circular motion with the entirety of our upper body around the base of our spine. Keeping the spine nice and straight and long. Inhaling from the front to the back. Exhaling from the back to the front. One more time, and then take that rotation in the opposite direction. Inhale, come back into that comfortable, easy seated posture. So we're going to start out by just taking a moment to just gently rub the bottom of our feet. And I know some of you are probably like, what the hell, and I do not want to do that. But honestly, that's one of the best ways you can figure out where like the tender spots are, what are those areas that are maybe a little bit challenged that you didn't know before. So just take that foot and gently rest it on top of your thigh if you can. If you can't, you can just take it in the front, whatever works, you know. However you need to access that bottom of the foot. You're going to take your thumbs and you're going to move those thumbs in a circular motion over the soles of the feet. And just take note as you're gently massaging those feet, like what are those areas that are in pain? What are the areas that are tender? Because these feet are responsible for so much. Your ankles and feet take you everywhere. They're responsible for so much of our movement, our mobility. And without them, we wouldn't be doing much of anything at all. It's also good to like look at the bottom of your feet sometimes. A lot of times we don't do that. And this is just side note as an esthetician for nearly 20 years. There's so much like skin cancer and stuff that can happen on the soles of your feet, specifically right now I know this and stuff. And if you never look at the bottom of the feet, you would never even know that those things are there, and it's really important to catch that stuff early. So just awareness, self-awareness of your own body, your own being, knowing what's going on with yourself so that you can be proactive and take good care of yourself. Whenever you're done with that foot, we're going to take it to the opposite side. Just circular motion. My feet are hurting all the time. I'm always walking around barefoot, like no like shoes, and yeah. Go to get a pedicure with my husband. I think they think they're gonna do better by taking me and his are always way prettier. Where's the boots? Okay. It's even good for like your thumbs and your hands, building strength in your thumbs or your knees, because we don't do a lot to strengthen that area either. So these kinds of movements can be really helpful for that. So go ahead and finish up here. We're going to lean through our legs and stick them straight out in front of us. I'm going to turn to the side here so you can see what I'm doing. Those legs are going to come straight out in front of you. You can just start by flexing those toes up towards the body. Hands can gently rest on the thighs. Then you're going to point those toes Hold it for a few seconds. Flex. And just keep going, pointing and flexing. This is also really strengthening for your lower legs. You want to take your hands to the side of your body as you're facing, so just listen to your body, whatever it is. Feels best. Little stuff like this can make the biggest difference. Couple more times. And then take those feet back into their neutral position. Now we're going to take our feet. This one's really interesting, and for me it is much easier for me to have my hands behind me. You can point the fingers towards the back wall or towards the body, whichever you prefer. We're going to take those feet together. They call them prayer feet, so that the soles touch, and it's really just the top. So like the ball of your foot and the toes are going to come together to touch. If you can see it better from this side. Touch, and then you're going to press them away. Touch, press away. So we're going to keep on prayer toes, press them away from each other, prayer toes, press them away, almost like you have like mermaid Bermuda, together and apart. All of these kinds of things strengthen and create more mobility within the foot. So like, especially if you're a chick and you're wearing like tight boots all the time, or you're wearing like heels and shit like that, and your feet are being mashed into these tiny little things that are really not meant for our feet at all, you know. You may notice that you start getting like buttons and corns and all kinds of crazy shit because your feet are doing things that they're not supposed to. And there is literally a thing called yoga feet, and you start to see it after you've been practicing yoga for some time. I remember when I started seeing my mom was like, hey, your feet look different, like they look more healthy, and like your toes are more spread apart and all of that kind of stuff. And this could keep you from having foot surgery one day. Like, this stuff is so important. Like, and that is one of the most painful surgeries. My mom has actually had to have several of those surgeries, and I'll tell you right now, she's got pins in her toes and shit. There's so much stuff she cannot do. So this is the kind of stuff that's going to keep you from having to do that someday. Take those feet back into their neutral position. You need to kind of like wiggle them out for a second. Go ahead and do that. And then we're going to bend the toes, curling them under, straighten. Bend, straighten. It's really funny because when I bend my toes, it's like the middle one just doesn't go down. I don't know if I broke both of those middle toes and I have a kid or something, but I suffer stand up straight all the way. I'm just flipping people off my feet all the time. Curling the toes, lengthening, keep it going. Eventually you'll start to feel a little bit tired in your feet where you're like, damn, I didn't know like I needed that bad, you know? Now we're going to come up on our hands and knees. This one isn't for our toes necessarily, but we're going to go ahead and come into those cat-cow stretches, waking up the body. So we're in that tabletop position. Tip the tailbone to the crown of the head, nice and straight. We're going to tip the tailbone up, drop the belly towards the earth, and take the hands forward. Tuck the tailbone, round through the spine, chin comes to the chest. Keep it going. Inhale, ancient cow, and exhale, ancient cat. Waking up and warming up that spine. come back into that tabletop position. We're going to curl our toes under. If you can do this posture, if you cannot, keep the tops of the feet down, resting into the mat. But if you can, we're going to curl the toes under, press the glutes back towards the heels as we walk the hands towards the body, rising up, dropping the glutes down on the heels. Now, this is a really common practice in our yoga classes where we clean out the energetic lines of our body. This practice, for this posture, actually really does clear out those meridian lines and all of the energetic lines of the body. So this can feel really uncomfortable at first when you when you first start engaging in it, and so you can maybe only do it for a little bit, right? And if you can only do it for a little bit, that's okay to uncurl your toes and come down with the tops of your feet flat into the mat. But if you can manage this posture, then we're going to hold it for a moment, stretching out those arches and the bottoms of the feet. When those arches get tight, when you have those kinds of issues, that's what can lead into those plantar fasciitis and all of those kinds of things that hurt so bad and feel so uncomfortable. So this is actually a great one to do regularly. Just drop yourself back on those heels with those toes curled under and breathe into the body. Sometimes one is more tense than the other, right? So that's always important to take note of. Like one side of me more compromised than the other. Hold this posture for a couple more seconds. Keep breathing deep into the body. And then on your next exhalation, we're going to drop those hands down in front of those knees, uncurl the toes, and tap out the tops of the feet. Then whenever you're ready, gently rest the tops of the feet to the mat. We're going to press the glutes back towards the heels again and rise up. We're going to hold this posture for a moment. This is our rock pose. So they call this one rock pose because it's super good for your digestion. And they say that you can even digest a rock when you're in this posture. That's literally how it got its name. So just breathing into the body. And this next posture, this next exercise is going to be really small and it's stretching out all those tendons and ligaments on the top of the feet. So we're going to drop our hands down the frame of our knees. And then on our inhalation, we're going to pull the knees up away from the earth. You're going to feel that stretch in the tops of the feet. You're going to hold it for a couple breaths. And then on your next exhalation, releasing the knees back down into the earth. Rise back up into that rock pose. Take those hands gently resting on the thighs. We're going to do that a couple more times before we move into our next stretch. Drop those hands to frame the knees. Lengthen through the spine. Inhale, draw the knees up away from the mat. Take a couple deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. Focus on the breath. Next exhalation, release the knees down into the mat, rising back up into a rock pose, resting the palms of the hands on the tops of the thighs. We're going to do this one more time. Next exhalation, release those hands to frame the knees. Inhale, lengthen through the spine, gazes forward. Inhale, draw the knees up away from the earth. Take those deep breaths. Exhale, release those knees down into the mat and rising back up. Now, if you've had surgery on your ankles, if you've had those compromised areas, if you had sustained some kind of injury recently where you twisted your ankle or something like that, you definitely need to be more careful than the rest of us. Pay close attention to your body. Do not do not engage in any postures that will challenge your body or put you over the edge, right? We always want to take ourselves to the edge, never pressing ourselves over into pain or tickle or numbness. Drop those hands down into the earth, coming up on our hands and knees. We're going to lengthen through one leg, so you're going to take those toes, curl them under, dropping the heels towards the mat. Make sure that your wrists are planted underneath those shoulders. Then you're just going to rock back and forth, flexing, dropping that heel towards the back wall, rising back up so that that foot is completely straight. Flex it back, flex it up. We're going to do that several times on the right side. Pull that knee in, take it to the opposite side, lengthening through the left leg, tuck those toes under, press the heel towards the back wall, take it forward, keep it going. You feel that your calves, and really like any of those tight tendons or muscles that you might have in that space that's attaching down to those ankle bones and creating that stiffness or that lack of mobility. We're going to come up on our knees now. You're going to take your hands and gently rest them on the hips. You're going to take one leg out. So your planted leg, you're going to be directly underneath you. You're going to lift up through the opposite. For me, this is my right leg. It's going to look like left to you. And you want to make sure that that ankle is directly underneath the knee joint. That's super important. And that interior of your foot is parallel to the edge of your mat. Okay? And then we're just going to gently shift our weight towards that lengthened leg and rise back up. Shift the weight over that right leg, your knee, it's going to look like left. And just keep it going. Shifting the weight to the right side. If you have your left leg up and bent, you're going to be shifting your weight to the left side. Keep the spine nice and straight as you're doing this. You don't want to be pushed over or rounded. One more time. And then rising up, take that knee in to meet the other one. We're going to bend up through the opposite leg. For me, this is my left leg. So I'm going to inhale deeply. And then exhale, I'll shift my weight towards that left ankle. Inhaling up. Exhale down. Continue on. Inhale back up to center. Take those knees back underneath your body. We're going to take that blanket now. We've got those props ready so that we can come into our Balasana posture. We're going to come up on the soles of our feet, about hips width distance apart, and drop those glutes down towards the earth. So you can take those elbows inside the knees, but if that doesn't feel good to you, you can't do that. You can take that rolled up blanket or folded up blanket, and you can place it underneath the heels of your feet, and that'll give you a little bit more availability for that posture. So this one is really easy for Asians, so I super looked out there doing for Japanese. So this feels really natural and comfortable to me. But a lot of Westerners specifically have a really tough time with this posture where the heels want to rise up away from the mat because they don't have strong enough ankles actually. So you don't have the necessary support in your feet and ankles. So this is a great way to create that strength in your ankle. And you can even like press. So like once your elbows are inside of those knees, you never want it on the knee joint, just underneath. You can kind of press and come up on the knife's edge of one foot. And then twist, press your elbow into that knee, coming up on the knife's edge of the other foot. So just alternate here. One more time on each side. And then release the soles of the feet down into the earth. We're going to drop our hands into the mat. Press the glutes up into the sky. Take the toes forward. Step it back in the downward facing dog posture. Releasing those heels towards the mat. Now, if you have a lot of tension in those tendons and those muscles in your legs and ankles, then this can feel really challenging for you to release the heels down towards the earth. So you can bend those knees gently if you need to reduce some of that tension. If you can release those heels down towards the mat, we're going to inhale, come up high on the toes. Exhale, drop the heels down towards the earth. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. Keep it going. One more time. Inhaling up and exhaling down. Pedal out those legs for a second. 1, 2. And then we're going to gaze towards those hands and step or float towards the top of the mat and hang in our forward fold. You can take your pinkies to opposite elbows. Or you can keep those fingertips grounded into the earth. And just breathing into the body. You're going to take your hands and you're going to drop them underneath the feet. Fingertips are going to come about midway into the arch of the foot. And the tops of the hands are going to be resting on the mat. The palms are going to be gently pressed against the sole. On your inhalation, you can lengthen through the spine. Breathing into the body, feeling into that nice deep stretch. Release those hands out from underneath those feet. We're going to bend through our knees gently. Take your left hand in front of your left or your right foot, Gently bending through the left knee. Take the right hand to the inside of the left hand and then inhale, twist up. Reach those fingertips into the sky. Take a gentle bind by releasing the right fingertips down towards the left hip. Just listen to your body. And then exhale, release that hand. We're going to take it to the opposite side. Right hand in front of the left foot, bending through the right leg. Left hand comes to the inside of the right. And inhale, swing those left fingertips into the sky.
Exhale, super slow and gentle, releasing it all the way down. Grounding through all four corners of both feet. Bending gently through the knees, rolling up through the spine, vertebra by vertebra. Inhale, arms come overhead. Exhale, cactus out the arms. Inhale, fingertips rise into the sky. Exhale, hinging forward through those hips. Inhale, half lift. 2 more times. Exhale, release the hands into the mat. Roll it up, super slow. Exhale, cactus. Inhale, fingertips rise into the sky. Exhale, hinging forward through the hips. Inhaling, half lift. Exhale, drop the hands down into the mat and roll it up. One last time. Arms come overhead. Exhale, cactus. Inhale, drop those fingertips, or keep those fingertips upward in the sky. Exhale, hinging forward. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, release the fingertips down into the earth. Really, really slow and gentle, rising up, rolling up through the spine, vertebra by vertebra. Arms come overhead. Take those hands into prayer pose and releasing them down into your heart space. So you can either keep those hands at heart space, or you can drop those hands down onto the hip, whatever feels good to you. We're going to step to our right side, lift up through the left leg. Step to the left side, lifting up through the right. We're just going to keep on moving, alternating, stepping to one side and lifting the opposite foot into the air. Keep it going. Intentional with the movement, not relying on the momentum of the movement, but nice conscious movements. So okay, if you have to touch your foot down sometimes, we'll just come back in. One more time on each side. So something that they say is like not good at all for your ankles and feet is to walk on your toes regularly, unless you already have strong ankles and feet. If you already have strong ankles and feet, that can feel really like fine to you, right? But something that is really good for stretching out all of those ligaments and tendons and all of those things is to walk on your heels. So we're going to come to the back end of our mat. We're going to lift the balls of the feet up away, and we're going to walk on those heels up to the top and down to the back. We're going to do that 3 times. Walk to the top and down to the back. One more time. Walk back towards the top. Release those feet down into the mat, grounding the 4 corners of both feet. We're going to come into our tree pose now, which is a balancing posture that we take in our yoga classes. And this one's also really good for building that ankle and foot strength. So we're going to ground through one foot. I am going to choose to ground through my left leg, but it's going to look like my right leg to you guys. So grounding through the right or the left leg, you're going to kick out the opposite leg, kickstanding your heel just over the ankle of that grounded leg. You're going to make sure that hip is nice and open, and that knee is pointed directly towards the side wall. You can take your hands to heart center, and that can be your fullest expression of tree. But if that feels comfortable and safe, and you want to take your tree posture a little deeper, you can even slide that foot up on the calf of that grounded leg. And breathe to the body. You can take it up into the thigh. We just never want to be on the joint of the leg, you'll remember. Never on the joint of the knee. Just take it to that expression of posture that feels the most comfortable and safe to you today. Take the knee forward, release the foot into the earth, and paddle out those legs for a second. We're going to take it to the opposite side, so rounding through the opposite leg. Kickstand your other. We're going to take it into the same expression on this side as you did on the other. So if you took your foot up towards your calf, do it on this side also. If you kept your foot kickstanded, do it on this side as well. Make sure that we're balancing out both sides of the body. And breathe. This is where we use what we call our Drewski gaze. So it's one point of still focus on the wall in front of you or something else where you can just have that extra point of contact from your body to the earth. One still point of focus. Take the knee forward, drop that foot down into the earth, and pedal out those feet. We're going to step our legs out, and we're going to hinge forward from the hips for a wide-legged forward fold. So you can drop those fingertips down into the earth. You can take your pinkies to the opposite elbows. You can sway gently from one side to another here. Just take a moment to relax into the body. Then on your next inhalation, take those toes out at a 45-degree angle. And you're going to gently bend through the knees, rolling up through the spine. The arms come overhead. And then we're going to exhale, drop the tailbone down towards the earth as we open up through those arms. And breathe into the body. This is called your goddess pose. Keep that pelvis tucked underneath your body. Inhale, arms come overhead, lengthen through those legs. Exhale, forward fold. Walk those feet together. Toes come to touch, heels are gently apart. Bending through those knees, roll up through the spine, arms come overhead. Exhale for that Utkatasana, or not Utkatasana, or fierce pose. I just totally flew out of my mind. This is cool. This is cool. Oh no. Keep, again, that pelvis tucked underneath your body as you're bending through those knees and rooting the tailbone towards the earth. Pinkies are towards one another as the biceps hug the ears. Inhale, lengthen through those legs. Exhale, hinging forward from those hips, forward fold. Gently pulse here for a moment. Then inhale. Rise up. Take those hands in prayer pose and drop them down into our center. We're going to get out that other prop from the ankle block. If you've got something else like a book or something like that, you can use that instead. So just listen to yourself and find whatever it is that you have that's safe. I'm going to take it down flat with the rectangular part of it directly touching my mat. So I'm going to take my foot, and we're going to be just behind that block. I'm going to take my right foot, and I'm going to draw my ball of my foot and the toes up on top. And then I'm going to press my heel down towards the earth as I lean through the leg. You want to take your hands to your hips, do that. And just stretch out the arch of that foot. You can also use a ball, like a tennis ball, in some of these exercises. So if you don't have a block, but you have a tennis ball handy, and push pause and go grab it, you would put that ball right in the arch of the foot. And then you could like roll around back and forth and open up the sole of that foot. So once you're done with that, we're going to take that foot down. Then we're going to take that same foot, rest the toes onto the block, lift the heel up as you bend through that knee. And just hold that posture for a moment. Exhale, let it go. We're going to take it to the opposite side now. Left foot comes on top, ball of the foot and the toes. Drop the heel down towards the earth as you lean through the legs so that you can feel that stretch through the calves and the arch of the foot. You're rolling that tennis ball around in the arch of the foot, and then you can even take that tennis ball and put it underneath just the heel and roll it around, and then the toe and that ball of the foot. You can roll it around that part of the foot. You're going to draw the heel up now as you bend through the knee and shift your weight forward just a little bit. Exhale, let it go. We're going to move that block, or that book, or those props out of the way. Inhale, arms come overhead. Exhale, hinging forward from those hips. Forward, forward. Allow the crown of the head to hang completely. Nodding the head, yes. Nodding the head, no. Inhale and rise up really slow and gentle. Arms come overhead. Exhale, drop those hands down into your heart space. So we're going to take a couple standing stretches against the wall now. So make sure you have a wall available to you. You're going to come with the hands on the wall. And I kind of want you to be able to see what I'm doing here, so hopefully you'll be able to see. You're going to step back with one leg. And you keep that front foot where you started. So you're going to start about 2 feet away from the wall. Hands come up on the wall, palms of the hands gently resting about shoulder level. Then stepping back with either the left leg or the right. And you're going to press into the wall, lengthening through the back of that leg and foot. Step it back as much as you need to feel that nice deep stretch. You can either also come up on the ball of the foot. You're going to feel a lot deeper stretch if you release the heel towards the earth. So step forward and then step back with the opposite leg. Release the heel down towards the earth and press those hands into the wall. Stepping forward. So this next stretch is like a plantar fasciitis stretch. You're going to take the toes in towards each other. And the heels are going to be out. So you're going to step back, take those toes towards each other, and press those hands into the wall. Step it forward. Inhale, come back onto your mat. Arms come overhead. Exhale, cactus out the arms. Inhale, fingertips rise into the sky so we can finish up our practice. Exhale, hinging forward from the hips. Inhale, and calf lift. Exhale, release the hands down into the earth. Drop the glutes down towards the mat. Legs come out in front of you. Bend those knees so that the soles of the feet are resting into the earth. Lengthening through the legs, framing them with those arms. Really slow, gentle ease. Release the spine, vertebra by vertebra, all the way down into that. Lengthening through the body. Inhale, knees come into the chest. And grabbing onto just the right leg, you're going to inhale, lift up through your left. Exhale, really slow, brace the knees, take it all the way down. Reaching out through your right arm, left hand comes outside of the right leg and pulls it across the body, keeping both of those shoulders grounded into the earth. For your supine twist, take your gaze over the right fingertips and get the stick on the neck. Right here, right. Sometimes the Sanskrit words that sound so much alike. That would drive me crazy. Gently untwisting the spine, take the knees back into the chest. Hold on to just the left leg this time. Inhale, lifting up to the right. Exhale, really slow. Take it all the way down into the earth. Reaching out through your right arm, left hand comes outside of the left, or right hand comes outside of the left leg, pulls it across the body, keep those shoulders grounded into the earth and gazing over the left fingertips of the safe. Really slow and gentle, draw that leg back. Realign the body. Take the knees back into the chest and find that happy baby posture. Grabbing onto the outside edges of those feet. Draw those knees in towards the armpits. You can take those gentle movements, swaying side to side or kicking out one leg and then the other. Or you can remain in stillness. And then really, really slow, brace the knees. Whenever you're ready, release those legs. Use your core strength. Very gently and easily lean through those legs, release them down into the mat. For your final Shavasana pose, drop those shoulders down away from the ears. Allow the feet to fall to the side. Palms of the hands can be rested gently, face down into the earth, face up. And then sink into your breath. And relax into this final Shavasana pose for a few moments. Breathing into the body, sinking into the earth, fully relaxed. Allowing that information in that class, those postures to integrate into the body. Breathing and relaxing. We are wildflowers, growing not where we were planted, but blooming in the untamed places that most would never attempt to reach. Really slow and gentle, start to move back into your body, back into your breath. Wiggling the fingers and toes, wrapping hands around wrists, feet around ankles. Taking this gentle full body stretches, cat stretches. And then drawing the knees into the chest and rocking and rolling up and down on the spine multiple times until you draw yourself upright into a comfortable seated posture. Take those hands in the heart center on prayer pose so we can finish our practice today with 3 long deep breaths. Inhale deeply, allow the belly to rise up away from the body. Exhale fully and completely drawing the navel towards the spine. Inhale nice and deep. Exhale. One more time, deep inhalation. Exhaling and letting go of everything that's no longer serving. Set down. Namaste. Set down. I am truth. Truth is my name. Namaste. I honor truth that only you could emit. Let authentic expression is yours and yours alone, without the desire to change it. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you guys have an awesome day, and I will look forward to catching you guys next week. So until then.